Hello, everyone, and welcome back to It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. I'm Cyrus Webb, joined by my co host, Dalsimer, who's the author of the best selling book that this show is based on. Glad you all could join us on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X. Going to bring in our friends over on IG so they can be a part of our chat. And last but certainly not least, going to bring in our friends over on Amazon Live. That's where you guys hopefully have already gotten the book. But if you have not gotten it already, now is your time to be able to do just that. And we're now live on the Amazon Live platform with It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day with Dalsimer and myself. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button, either here in this corner or down below. You also will see Allie's book. You guys can get it there in print. Also, you can get the Kindle edition as well as the audiobook as well. I just noticed this, Allie. If people are new to Audible, they can actually get your book for free. So that's the great. If you guys are new to Audible, make sure you guys take that up as well for the audiobook. We have another great lesson. I know I say that every week, but another great lesson from Allie's book today. Hope you guys enjoy. But Allie, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Cyrus. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here with you today.
Oh, look, I'm always excited about this, but I was just saying to you, we're about to be halfway through the month of February, which means we're almost halfway through the season already.
Yep. It'll be over before we know it.
It will be over. And I should let our audience know we have a special announcement we'll be making next week about something that's happening for the very first time with Ellie and myself. But you guys have to stay tuned to next week for that announcement. So make sure you guys don't miss it. So Ellie, I mentioned to you before we went live here, every time when I'm reading these, of course, I think from my own perspective, but I also think about you because this is your life we're kind of reading about. I could imagine that this chapter was probably one of your favorites. Would you say that?
Oh, one of my favorites. I'm not sure if I would put it that way.
Oh,
The
okay.
quote is certainly one that guides my life the most.
Okay.
I don't know if it's one of my favorites though.
Oh, okay, cool. You
Yeah.
know what? That's what. And let me tell you why I say that. And it'll become obvious to our audience when you actually read it, because this deals with the thing that I think you have called your ultimate achievement, and that is motherhood.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, but it's so interesting. I was saying to Allie, and you guys will see this when we get into the chapter. I think there's so many lessons for us, like myself, who I don't have children. To me, the chapter really is about impact and influence and showing up. For yourself first so that you can be able to benefit others and bring your best to others. But Allie, as we kind of go into today's chapter, though, I want to kind of go back to last week because I think it's such a interesting thing for us. As we kind of think about where we are in your book, again, the
Mhm.
subtitles you brought out, and I'm so glad you have, it's a journey to self-discovery. Talk to us about how it feels to be on the journey at this point, because you said to me before that you're not where you were when a lot of this book, of course, was written. How does it feel to be where you are now and looking back at it?
Liberating,
Okay.
um, progressive. I've
Hmm.
progressed through,
Yeah.
um, and empowering.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love.
because I feel like I've worked hard and I've accomplished, and I feel then I can be justifiably proud of that, just like
Mhm.
anyone can who works towards a goal and makes progress towards that goal. I'm certainly not there yet. I'm a work in progress for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really, we talk a lot about taking that one small step every day, and
Hmm.
it may not seem like a lot, but then when you turn around and look back, you realize you've come quite a long ways. I feel
Yeah.
like that's how I feel. I feel like I, make small steps every day, and I'm so far from perfect and so far from getting to where I'd like to be. But I look back and I'm like, darn, this is cool. Congratulations to me. Let me celebrate for just a moment.
Yeah. I love that. And that I was actually getting to that very point. I'm so glad you teed this up perfectly. So, because I have found I had another conversation with a great guest this week, Ellie, and one of the things they said was how hard it was for them to give themselves credit
Yeah.
because they're always focusing on what they haven't done or what they didn't achieve, or yeah, I did that, but I didn't do. So it sounds like you're saying you've gotten to a place where you can give yourself credit for what you have achieved.
Right. Yeah. We've talked about it in other parts of the book and whatever as the negativity bias,
Yeah.
where we're very quick to believe negative things. But there's a corollary to that where we devalue our accomplishments
Yeah.
and never feel like we're doing enough and always feel like we need to do more. And
Yeah.
that's sort of the corollary to that negativity bias. And that's definitely something that I've worked very hard because I was very much like that. Oh, you did this, you did this. Whatever, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
And it's so important to celebrate our accomplishments and reward ourselves because that's motivational. If you recognize, wow, I did a good job, you're going to feel more motivated to continue on your journey. And which is funny that you raise this because my entire newsletter tomorrow is all about maintaining that motivation and momentum, um,
Ah.
to try and keep you on track towards
Yeah.
achieving your goals because it's really easy to get derailed.
Yeah, you said something just now. I'm sorry. Hello to you, Poppily Buzz over there on IG. Going to be able to see you. Novel Knit Poets. Hello, Novel Knit Poetess. Hello to you over there on IG as well. Thank you so much for joining us. See you guys over there on YouTube as well. Appreciate the hearts. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys do drop those in the chat as well. But I love the fact that you said that you're not perfect, and I think hopefully our audience took a breath and said, "Well, you know what? I'm not either." And I think that's part of the connection, that we don't have to feel like we have to be what other people look like as being perfection. I will talk about that part for you, Allie, because even I have found this, and this is one of the reasons why I think in my life, and my mom and I were having this conversation this week, because one thing she said to me, actually, it was today, she said, "You don't seem to feel bad that other people are doing this and that, and you're not doing this or that." And I said, well, I told her, I said, "No, I'm so focused on what I'm doing, I don't really have time to think about, well, this person gets to cover the Grammys or, or do whatever." What has that been like for you to get to a place, Allie, where you can just feel comfortable being in your own version of what being the best mother, speaker, author is instead of comparing yourself to others?
Well, that presumes that I don't compare myself to others.
I was giving you
um,
credit there.
absolutely. And one of the things you've heard my talk, and I talk about how it's your journey. There's no right or wrong way. It's your
Yeah.
journey, and don't
Mhm.
compare yourself to others.
Mhm.
And I work very hard to do that. It's hard though not to think, gosh, if only, right?
Yeah.
If only I was whatever, or if only I did whatever, or look at the other person. But I think what I have accomplished is recognizing when I'm starting to do that and being able to pull back and realizing,
Mm.
no, this is my journey and I can only do what I can do,
Yeah.
and um I really feel like rewarding myself and congratulating myself on my small steps is the biggest way that I avoid that comparison trap, that I
Mm.
avoid that judgmental trap that we fall into a lot of times.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, and I think it's a great reminder again for all of us. And to Allie, to the point we've made here several times on this show over the seasons is it's a work in progress. We all are a work in progress, and we all get there at different places and times. But the main thing is moving forward, doing
Yeah.
something that moves us forward.
And perfection is an illusion, right? There's no
Yeah,
such thing as perfect. What's perfect for one person isn't perfect for another.
yeah,
So, I talk a lot about embracing our perfect imperfections because we're all flawed people. We are by nature flawed.
right.
And that doesn't mean we're not perfectly imperfect for who we are and what we want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's really where the secret lies.
Exactly. I want to reset real quick, Ellie, and say for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You're watching It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. I'm Cyrus Webb, joined by my co-host, Ellie Dalsimer, whose book it is that we have been discussing, having a great time discussing her book. We're now in season 3. This is our final season of the show because we're coming to the end of the book. So today, if you have your copy of it, we're going to be on pages 101 is where we're going to start. And Ellie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, here we go. If you mess up your children, nothing else you do really matters. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Becoming a parent completely changes your life. We've all heard that. Intuiting the implications, though, requires personal experience, for we cannot appreciate how profound the shift of parenthood is without becoming a parent. This applies to all rites of passage and relationships. Once we experience these rites, we learn and grow, even if sometimes we feel like we just can't get it right. The good news is, you don't have to get it right. We don't have to be great. We don't have to be great parents to have great kids. We just have to be good. We don't have to be great managers to have great teams. We just have to be good. We don't have to be great planners to have a great life. We just have to be good. We bring positive energy into our lives and into the world when we are kind and patient. And it's never a mistake to breathe and slow, to have patience with others, whether they be children who are overexcited or frightened, elderly parents or neighbors who are forgetful or need help with daily tasks, friends who are psychologically or emotionally scarred, or even pets who fear storms or strangers. During the pre-flight warnings, every airline admonishes passengers to put their oxygen masks on first in case of emergency. That's because, especially when we're stressed, it's hard to figure out the right balance of self-care versus helping others. When those slings and arrows of daily existence overwhelm us, that is the moment we must gift ourselves a respite. A hot shower, a warm bath, a long walk, an hour curled up with a book. If we don't, we may inadvertently take our frustrations out on innocent bystanders. Life is short. Life is hard. Life holds both joy and sorrow, and we all experience trials and tribulations. How we handle these ups and downs defines us, not anyone or anything else, just us. Patience and unconditional love are a winning combination. When we listen and work to understand others' perspectives and experiences, we better emphasize with their viewpoint. This, in turn, enables us to avoid the buildup of tensions and frustrations that push us to lash out with anger or hostility. So slow down and take a deep breath or two. Being a good parent, a good child, a good friend, a good passerby poses a challenge as we rush along in a headlong race to accomplish and succeed. But what does succeeding mean? To me, success is making a positive difference. By that measure, taking time to help others is an accomplishment in and of itself. Here's a lesson I wish I'd learned 20 years ago. No job is more important than our own well-being or that of those we love.
Yeah. I tell you, there's so many layers to this, and this is why I said, Allie, when you and I were talking earlier before the show started, that even as someone who, even though the quote alludes to parenthood, and being, the best you can at that, the whole chapter really for me is about being the best no matter what hat you're wearing. So talk to us about that for yourself, because I think, there are people who wonder, okay, am I really good at this? Right? They may be hard on themselves for whatever reason, could have been past trauma or comparison, like we were talking about earlier. But when you read this chapter today, again, going back to how we started earlier, saying you're not where you were when this book was written, how do you kind of take this chapter today and be able to apply it?
Yeah, that's really an interesting question, Cyrus, because my self-perception has really evolved on this. I used to just beat myself up all the time. And okay, honestly, I still occasionally do when I mess things up, right? Like when I mess things up, I get like really stressed and annoyed with myself that I've messed it up, especially if I knew, I just knew and I just did it anyway, right?
Yeah.
But for me, this chapter is if you mess up something important, nothing else you do really matters, right? Like, but what is so important? Children are important. Human beings are important. If you damage a person, that's significant, right? But if it's not important, there's the old phrase, don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the corollary to that, the opposite of that, right? So if you mess up something small, like, me, typically I mess up a social media post and then I have to take it down and then I have to redo it. And then I put it up and it's messed up again and I have to take it down again and then I have to put it up. Or, on Groundhog Day, I literally put the same post up 4 times because my computer, my phone rather, wasn't like acknowledging that it was posted. So I was like, oh, post, share, whatever. So then I went and I looked at my page. I was like, oh, it's there 4 times. Okay. The irony of it being Groundhog Day was not lost on me.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that I used to really stress about. Like I would get really stressed about these kinds of things. But that's not children. That's not humans. That's not a life decision. That's just
Mhm.
so unimportant. So the goal of the chapter is to say, focus on the things that are important in life.
Yeah.
And also, try not to take your own frustrations out on other people because you don't
Mhm.
know what's going on in their lives.
Yeah.
They have their own things that are going on. And if we get stressed out about little things, then, we're too quick to maybe um, lash out. And the
Yeah.
whole point about like the work life balance, right? Trying to find that equilibrium. That's where the sweet spot is. Finding that equilibrium where you care about the things that matter and you just don't care about the things that don't matter. That's
Yeah.
the goal.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting. Again, that's why I'm curious to know, and I hope you guys put it in the comments whether you're joining us live or the replay about this, because I think that's why myself. Hey, Kevin, good to see you over there on IG. Kevin O'Sullivan, glad you could be able to join us. When I was reading this chapter again as a single guy with no kids, that's why I said earlier my main thought was the main thing about showing up the best you can, because you even say, Allie, in this particular chapter, and I want to go back to that because I think it's such a great point, and the way that you wrote this was really good too. As you were giving the different examples, you say we don't have to be great parents to have great kids. We just have to be good. We don't have to be great managers to have great teams. We just have to be good. We don't have to be great planners to have a great life. We just have to be good. And I think it then becomes, okay, what are you judging good by? Because I think that's what happens with a lot of people, right? Whether you're talking about, I can only assume with parents would be the same thing as anyone in their, career, like my mom and I were talking about, that so many times people think because their children became astronauts or whatever, that means you did a great job parent, and that's, you know, and I love the fact that with this chapter for myself, and I'm curious to see your thoughts, Ellie, it really is about just doing the best you can. That's really what it boils down to. It doesn't mean your children are going to be, A students or, go off to do, save the world and, um, write best-selling books, but just doing the best you can. What are your thoughts about that, Ellie?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. We put so much pressure on ourselves. And the reality
Yeah.
is we can't do better than the best we can do.
Yeah.
If you're doing your best, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And you have to just grace yourself the kindness and acceptance that's going to be good enough. It's going to be all you can do, and that's good.
Yeah.
And how your kids turn out, that's definitely on the parents, but it's partly how they're wired. It's in their DNA.
Yeah.
And you may not have kids, but you've seen kids.
Mhm.
It's not a one size fits all. Kids are not all the same. They're all very
Yeah.
unique, even within the same families.
Right.
And you can steer and guide and whatever, just like you can with your business or with your friends or whatever else you're working on, your goals that you want to achieve. And you just have to be good, just be
Yeah.
good. And by good, it's consistent, it's doing your best, and it's
Right.
recognizing that some days you're not gonna be so great. Some days your biorhythms are going to be off or whatever.
Mhm.
And some days you're going to post that same story 4 times. It's just the way it is
Yeah.
you know
You just touched on something, Ellie, and I didn't want to go there because I didn't want people thinking I'm talking about something I don't know anything about. But you bring up a point that I really thought about too, because I know some parents who have done extraordinarily great jobs as far as they could with their children. Their children still went off and made issues or were disasters. I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
And I look at them and think, they had the support. I know because I saw them grow up. They had the support. They had things given to them to give them the tools, but they still chose to do their own thing. And again, that's not the parents' fault. But I do understand that there will be some who will say, well, what did the parents do? Or why did they make those decisions? But to the point you just made, I hope people really get that you could, the main thing is to do your best, and it really will be up to the child. I mean, there's even a scripture that says that you train up
Yeah.
a child, in the way they should go, but it's still up to them. what they choose to do.
It is. I will say, though, I will caveat that, and not just for raising children, but for any endeavor that you undertake.
Mm-hmm.
If you really do want to be good, you need to learn and study.
Mm.
So a parent can think they're doing a great job, give their child lots of love, give them whatever they ask for, blah, blah, blah. And inadvertently, perhaps they're spoiling their child or
Mm.
having their child focus on outcomes instead of efforts or
Mm.
whatever the case may
Got it.
be. And then the child doesn't learn how to make educated and informed choices for him or herself. So, or maybe, you know, you've got you want to start a business or you want to do whatever, and you don't take the time to learn about it. So I'll use my example because this is what I do. When I first put out this book, I did not take the time to research what, for example, book covers in my genre look like. What do self-help, motivation, inspirational books look like? And I put out a cover that I thought was so clever, and it was a complete flop. People looked at that cover and they thought it was a romance. And it wasn't a romance. I did my best. I put it out there. But what I didn't do was take the time to educate myself about it. So I agree with you in part. But I will caveat that because
Mm-hmm.
I really believe you have to make an effort in whatever you do in life. You have to make an effort. And, you know, then you just see how it goes. And, you know, kids turn out good or bad, businesses fail or don't.
Yeah.
You only have so much control. But I do think that on average, people educate themselves less than they perhaps could.
Yeah. That's a
Which
great
is
point.
not a message anybody wants to hear, but you
Yeah,
know.
but no, I think that's a great point. But it also ties into something else you said in this alley on page 103. Life is short, life is hard, life holds both joy and sorrow. And it really is, as you go on to say, we all experience trials and tribulations. How you choose to handle these ups and downs defines you, not anyone or anyone, not anyone or anything else, just you. And I think that is the thing too, making sure again that we, as to your point, that we are doing the best we can. And that does come with making sure that we're learning and that we realize the importance of always learning, that we never stop learning and growing. So what is your hope then, Allie, with this chapter? Because it starts off in, being who I am, I counted, there's only two in this whole chapter, only two references to parents. But what do you hope when people hear this conversation? What do you hope they're able to think about, not only when it comes to being a parent or, or a family, but just about life and how they deal with it?
I think what I really hope people take from this is to recognize that it's okay to be imperfect. It's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay not to know everything.
Hmm.
And also, there is a need to learn and grow and become informed, become better educated so that you can then better achieve whatever your goals are. And that really is the best you can do. Going forward and just trying may seem like the best you can do, but it's not. The best you
Mm.
can do is actively pursue knowledge and implement it. That's the best you can do.
Love that. Love that. I love that. I think that's a great reminder for all of us. Again, everyone, It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day is the book. You all can get it here on Amazon in print, the Kindle edition, or the audiobook as well. Allie, another great one for us today. How can our audience stay connected with you and keep up with the newsletter and the new season of So What's Your Process?
Oh, well, thank you for that. Yes, my newsletter comes out every week. It alternates between author news and then life advice, where I provide tip, tricks, and useful resources to help you stay on target. You can find that at allydalsimer.com/newsletter. You can find me under Allie Dalsimer on my socials. I've given up X. I can't do it anymore, and I've switched to Blue Sky, so you can find me
Okay.
there or on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. And yeah, so we have a podcast that just started. First episode dropped on January 29th with Larry Saperstein from Disney's High School Musical, The Musical. And then yesterday, Terry Brown, who is a multi-genre award-winning author and podcast host herself, whose episode is really funny. And that's at So What's Your Process on YouTube or on Instagram. And we'd love to have you check us out and like and subscribe if you like.
All right, Ellie. Congratulations again. I'm not on Blue Sky. I have to check it out.
It's a much more welcoming space, it seems. I've
Okay.
just started my account there, and I
Okay.
kind of like
Well,
it
you need.
already.
Okay, well, you've made me want to check it out. I'm definitely have to do that. We definitely thank you all so much for being with Allie and myself as we're going into our final season of It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous. As I mentioned, next week have a special announcement that's coming up. So I hope you guys will join us for that. Allie, I appreciate you as always, and for all of you, thank you so much for joining us for It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous every day. Until next week, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.